This is my 2001 Audi S4 Avant, and I'm setting out to bring this piece of German engineering back to its original glory, with maybe a little bit more spice and flavor. So far, I've mostly been repairing parts that either perished from old age, throw that one away, or fix mistakes that I've made trying to modify it in the past.
Strut mounting is dead.
What?
The strut mounting is dead. It is, 100%.
Are you taking my piss?
No, I'm being sick.
But my plans for the future include a lot more mods, and I've been dying to find an excuse to get some new wheels for this thing. So that's exactly what I've done. Don't get me wrong, I am a fan of the European OEM Plus look, which is kind of what I've been running since owning this car. But that's only because I couldn't afford the mods I actually want. These wheels mark the start of the next phase of this build. They are finally a step in the direction I'm wanting to take this car. Except, I'm not entirely sure I actually like them.
Babe, can you come have a look real quick?
Maybe if it was a bit less red.
Yeah, the red's not gonna work.
Okay, so today I got some new wheels because if you guys remember in a previous video, I was looking at the tires and they were looking a little bit tired. That's so dry, I'm gonna cut that out. In a previous video, the tires were looking pretty worn down and I know that I was not gonna pass a waff with them. So I thought I could either try to get new tires, I think probably around 300 each. So I was probably looking at over $1,000 for new tires all around, including fitting and balancing and all that kind of stuff. So I thought, why don't I look on Facebook Marketplace, see if I can find some new rims and tires together with tires that could at least pass WAF. WAF, if you're not in New Zealand, is just warrant of fitness, and that's an annual thing that we need here to keep our cars roadworthy and street legal. If you don't have a WAF, you can't drive your car legally. But I thought I was going to need some new tires, so I thought, why not go a little bit extra and see if I can find some wheels as well. And I've always wanted some wheels like these, the classic 5-spoke, which these are Rotiform WGRs. These are one of my favorite wheels. Look at it from this angle. You can kind of see that fitment. I think that looks so nice. I love how it is touching at the moment. I'm probably gonna have to roll these a little bit more, see if I can pump the fenders out a bit. But I think they're sick. I mean, what do you guys think? I think they fit so well. I love just like a classic 5-spoke. I think they look nice with this little lip here. I don't know what else to say other than I think they're fucking sick. See a little bit of tire, see a little bit of spoke. It's super aggressive. Those are the wheels I've got. Only problem is now, over here, if we have a look at the brakes, so the offset on these wheels is an ET30, I believe. I might correct that if I'm wrong. I believe it's an ET30, which means that the offset itself is perfect. You can see I've taken my spaces off. I had 20mm spaces on before. These fit perfectly flush now. I think that that's like literally perfect fitment. Only problem is the spokes catch right on the very, very corner of the brakes here. So what I'm gonna have to do is shave those down a bit. Literally just like grind it down just a millimeter or two. Don't worry, it's not gonna ruin the structural integrity. So I've been told. Also, Red obviously not being my favorite choice. I don't know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about the red on silver. Personally, I'm not a fan. So I think these wheels would look sick in a bright silver. So like even a lighter silver than the paint. I was trying to start a sentence without saying so. I'm just gonna have to do it. So I'm gonna have to get some paint stripper, some pretty gnarly paint stripper. I'm gonna look for like automotive paint stripper, which hopefully will be able to remove that red paint.
I started filming this video over a month ago before recording this voiceover right now. So there have been some change in plans, but you will see that later in the video and why I decided not to strip the paint. But first thing I need to do to prepare these wheels for anything is give them a good wash. So I began with laying them all out and got them all sudsed up.
All right, got all 4 wheels done, nice and clean. Look at that, spotless, shiny. I actually really like how they look on their own. I think the red's actually pretty cool, but I'm just not a fan of it on the car, you know. Got those all cleaned up, got everything dry, got the center caps out, so now I can get onto preparing it for the paint stripper.
At this point, I had already bought 2 cans of some pretty expensive paint stripper, but after thinking about it a little more, I was worried about stripping the wheels back to bare metal and letting them sit until I could clear coat them. It's possible they could develop some rust in that time. So, I therefore decided I would commit to doing the job a little more properly and paint them silver instead.
I think my best bet would actually be to go the route of painting them instead. I'm going to sand down the curb rash and anything else that needs to be evened out. Put some filler in it, sand it down again, paint it, clear coat it. I've got some pretty good paints. I've got some 2K clear and, wait one second, and I have got a spray gun. So this is gonna be my first time spraying anything, but I'm gonna have a go at it. How hard can it be? I guess that's famous last words, eh? It's probably gonna be really hard. I'll figure it out. I think that's all the fun of it.
I'm laying down a tarp here so I don't ruin my rental's garage carpet. Is that just a New Zealand thing? Anyway, here's a couple shots of the curb rash that needs to be sanded down and filled in. Next, I had to finally get started on the tedious task of hand sanding all 4 of the wheels down so I can make sure my base coat sticks well and will also hide any of the red from coming through the base coat. My next step is to tape off and prepare the area for filler with wax and grease remover. You can probably guess this is also my first time using filler, so my technique is pretty ugly, but it got the job done.
Okay, I think this is gonna take a lot longer than expected, so I'm gonna put on some music and just make a time lapse.
It had been over 27 years since I'd had a sexual experience with a woman. I mean,
Oh shit, sorry, I forgot I was in the middle of my audiobook. I'm breathing in the paint dust because the doctor said it's good for me. Well, actually, I don't know. I stopped listening to them when they said I should wash my hands. Because that's gay. I'm not going to make you watch me sand all 4 wheels because that's super boring and took me multiple days to finish, but I got it done.
I've now got everything sanded, all 4 wheels. Fuck my back up, fuck my knees up, fuck my fingers up. All for this. I hope this is worth it. Oh, there's a spot I missed. Give you a bit of a close-up. This is all 4 wheels done and dusted. I think this will hopefully work. These ones I'm going to hope that it works. I've scuffed up the surface and around the edge. I couldn't really get inside the letters, but I'm just going to hope that the primer does its job and is able to stick to that. But other than that, yeah, that's literally days worth of work. Took off all the wheel weights inside, did all the inside. I mean, I didn't do the back of the spokes, but I don't think I need to. Got in all back there in all these difficult spots. This was an absolute mission. What's left to do now is I am going to use wax and grease remover on all the wheels to clean everything up, put tape around the very edge, wrap the tires in something so that the tires don't get paint on them. And I'm gonna just have a go at painting. Never done it before. I've also have never used this compressor for this before, so I have no idea how this is gonna go. This is literally my first time doing all of this. It's a bit of a trial and error, like everything I do.
There was actually too much dust and residue left on the wheels after sanding for the wax and grease remover to clean it on its own. So I hosed them down and cleaned them with dish soap, which will also help remove any oils or grease on the surface before I finally get to use the wax and grease remover to clean the last little bit. After cleaning all the wheels, I vacuumed the garage floor to remove any dust and shit so it doesn't end up in my paint. Used the blower on my portable vacuum to air dry the wheels completely so I can move on to the wax and grease remover in an as clean of an environment as possible.
Maybe I'll close the garage door to prevent any more dust coming in. But for now, I'm just trying to keep things as clean as possible. And I put gloves on to avoid any oils from my skin getting on the surface. But now I'm just going to go around, wipe everything down. That looks much better. Only a little bit coming off now. But I'm going to go around, give all the wheels a wipe, make sure we are completely ready for primer. There you go. Not so bad this time. I think it's time to shut the door so we don't get any more dust coming in. And I've got a drop sheet here to go down on the floor and protect the carpet of this rental. Otherwise, I won't get my deposit back. Where did I get this idea? I don't really know. It kind of just came to me in a vision. So I'm just going to roll with it. And I mean, I don't see why it won't work.
My hallucinations aside, using Glad Wrap to wrap the tires and taping off all the areas I need to block from getting paint on them works pretty well. Without forgetting the valve stem, of course.
Taken me until 6:30. Took me an hour and a half to get all 4 of these done. But I think I did a pretty good job. I think that will work. And that's all that matters, is that it works. Primer, clear coat. I don't know what the fuck this is. So this is the clear coat, this is the hardener, 2K clear. Thinners, and this is my base coat of silver, which I hope it comes out all right. Metallic, very fine, quite fine. And some mixing jugs. Now I'm just gonna fucking wing it. So I'm just gonna literally dust the coat on. I can already smell it in my lungs. It's looking all right. I mean, these ones I went a little bit heavier on, and also trying to get in there as best I can. Might have to try and hit that from the other side, I think. I'm like a bloody robot at this point. Mercedes gonna hire me in their factory. Actually, Audi's gonna hire me in their factory as a robot. Oh my days. It's all right. We can fix it. We can fix it.
style of these wheels meant that there were lots of concave surfaces and hard to reach places to try and get an even coat. Maybe not the easiest wheels to try and learn with, but these are the wheels I like, so I have to make it work. Now that I finished both cans of primer, I'm kind of forced to call it a day and come back tomorrow for the base coat.
Okay, so we are back the next day and I am setting up the space to spray the wheels. Again, I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm kind of just winging this, going by what I think I should do. I watched a couple of videos, but ultimately I'm just gonna figure it out the hard way. But yeah, other than that, I mean, I'm gonna do it outside because it's not super windy and I don't want paint just flying around inside my garage and getting overspray on my car and everything. And ultimately it is a rental, so I don't want anything on the walls too. Yeah, I'm literally just gonna have a go. I'm on my own, so I'm not gonna be able to get great footage, but I'm just gonna set the camera down and time lapse it and I'll give you updates as I go.
Probably not the way the professionals do it, but I laid out a drop sheet on the ground and began mixing my base coat with the thinners. Realized that I didn't have any kind of funnel to pour the paint, so I ran over to the neighbor's house and stole their mail so I could pour my paint. As you probably already know, painting is a pretty messy job, so make sure you wear clothes that you don't care about ruining. I just went and grabbed a shirt from my girlfriend's cupboard, so I don't need to worry about that. Finally adding in the thinners here and giving it a decent mix so I can begin my first coat. Circling these wheels the same way I circle a free charcuterie board at a party. And just like then, I'm making sure to leave no crumbs behind.
First coat on, you can see it's a little bit patchy, but otherwise it's looking silver, even down there in the nooks and crannies. I think it's looking pretty all right. Gonna keep going.
I gave inside the barrel and the faces a total of 3 coats each to try and make sure to build up a decent thickness all the way around to try and hide any imperfections I may or may not have. This was my first coat on the faces, and it was still a pain to get into all the little armpits of each of the spokes, but it was definitely easier than with a rattle can. I'm pretty stoked with how it's looking so far, to be honest. The paint is going on nice and evenly, and I haven't had any major problems yet.
Wham! Look at that. Phew.
Okay, it didn't take too long until I did have a major fuck up. When mixing the clear coat, I knew it was supposed to be a 2-to-1 ratio. However, I didn't think long enough about which part is the 2 and which part is the 1. So I put in all the hardener and then realized I would need to put in all of the clear to keep the ratio correct. So now any hope of keeping some clear for any future projects has gone out the window. Now at this point, I was thinking I may have bitten off more than I can chew, and have potentially gotten myself into a situation I can't get out of. But now, there's no stopping until I finish clear coating all the wheels, otherwise I have to wait to buy more clear coat. So every moment from here is vital that I don't mess up. The first coat went down nicely, and I was happy with how it was looking, so I had high hopes to be able to get this done without any further problems. But Auckland weather is known to change drastically in a matter of minutes. People that live here learn that you either have to adapt quickly, or you can get swept into the gutter before you have time to put your Crocs into sport mode. This is right around when I noticed that I was in a race with the weather to get my wheels done before the rain ruins my fresh paint. I was forced to adopt a technique I think I may have invented on the spot, where I got Abby to roll the wheels along the drop sheet while I keep the trigger pulled and hope for the best.
All right, just managed to get inside just in time. Holy crap. But still looking pimpin'. These look crazy. These almost look like Ferrari wheels or something. Damn. I think, oh, there you go, a bit of shine. Now, all I'm gonna do is I'll give them a sand and a polish in probably a couple days time. I'll have time to actually go through, sand it with like 3000 grit and give it a polish. And then I need to get them balanced by a tire place. I obviously ripped off all the balancing weights when we were doing the sanding. So yeah, I need to get them rebalanced and then I can put them on. Bang! Here I am peeling off all of the masking tape and glad wrap from all 4 wheels, being extremely careful because obviously the paint is still wet, but I need to get it off before it dries so that I don't pull any paint off with the tape.
What day is Father's Day?
Sunday. You got it! You've got it! Now, if I'm being honest, which I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm not going to hide anything from you. So, 2 things I've learned painting these for the first time. 1, I used too low of a sandpaper grit when sanding these down in preparation. And I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but you can see the texture through the paint. It's subtle, but you can see it up close, and it's something that definitely, if I'm going to do this again, I would do that different. Now, the other thing is, this is my own stupidity. I will be completely honest. I was too lazy to sand the primer coat before spraying the base coat because I thought, 1, it would be okay. I thought that the paint would cover it, but 2, that if I sanded the primer and had to clean it off again, I wasn't sure how, just because of the texture of it, I wasn't sure if wetting the paint was going to be bad. So I didn't want to risk it, like cleaning them off and everything again. So I just kind of painted over it. But now, in some places, there is a bit of texture, and I don't know if you can see it here. So it's a little bit rough. So today I'm going to go through and see what I can do to fix that. Unfortunately, the scratches under the paint, I'm not going to be able to get out because it's under the paint. But this texture here, I think I should be able to at least smooth it out a bit. Everywhere else is nice and smooth. The faces, I put on enough coats that it's completely smooth, but I'll still give it a bit of a polish and get them looking perfect. But, I mean, geez, how good does that look? And it's a much better day today as well. All right, I'm gonna get started.
Just some more proof that Auckland weather does whatever it wants, so I'm going to make the most of it. Now, I went through all of the wheels one by one and sanded down the rough textured spots with 1000 grit sandpaper to level everything out and prepare it for polishing. I tried to use a polishing attachment for my drill to tackle the bulk of the polishing where possible, and it made pretty light work of it, but in some areas I needed to polish by hand to get in all of the tight spots. This was another time-consuming task that took me a few hours to get through all of the wheels, but I'll only show you a couple clips so that you get the idea.
And there we have it. That is 4 wheels, sanded, primered, base coated, clear coated, sanded again, polished. Now we are ready to go to the tire shop to get them balanced. And then the only other things I need to get done is shave the front brake calipers down a tiny bit. I'll probably have to put some paint on them as well so they don't rust, and potentially raise the suspension a bit because it's a little bit too low.
I went down to the local tire place down the road from me to get them balanced, popped them on, and now I'll show you the reveal. All right, and there we have it. 4 wheels bought in candy red, repainted. Am I standing in the way? 4 wheels bought in candy red, sanded, resprayed to the best of my ability, of course. Not perfect, but I learned something, and yeah, I think I got an excuse to use my cool tools, use the compressor, use the spray gun. So if I'm ever going to paint something again, at least now I know what I should and shouldn't do, and I can make improvements. And that's what this channel's all about, is I just want to learn how to do things, how to work on my car, how to paint, how to fix things, how to do mods, how to, I guess, ruin my car more. But yeah, that's all the fun of it. You're probably wondering what this all cost me, and I think after adding all the numbers up, I think I'm going to be a little bit disappointed in myself. But again, it's a learning opportunity, so I'll just take it as that. First off, I bought the wheels for $1,100. This is New Zealand dollars. The next thing I bought was all the preparation stuff, so tape, drop sheet, sandpaper, wax and grease remover. All of that together was around $25. Next thing I bought was all of the paint, so that was primer, base coat, clear coat, mixing cups. All of that together was just around $300, or maybe just under $300. I already had most of the tools that I used, so the compressor and the spray gun I had already bought previously, so I finally just got an excuse to use it. So I'm not going to count that because I didn't buy it specifically for this project, and I can use those things again, so I won't count those in the cost. And I think finally was the wheel balancing, which was $100 to get all 4 wheels balanced. So I'll add that all up on the screen so you can see exactly what it cost, and it's probably sitting around somewhere close to 1.5. And I think if I were to buy these wheels in silver new, I think they're around 1.4K just for the wheels alone. And then I would obviously need to get tires on top of that, which even if I got the cheapest tires possible, that would still be at least another $500 to $600 for the cheapest, shittest tires. And I think these are actually pretty good tires. So I think I actually ended up with a pretty good deal. But now let me show you exactly the finish of the job, because I should state it's not perfect. It's my first time painting anything. So I just want to be honest with you guys, and I'll show you exactly how they look. Okay, so for full transparency, you can see there in the barrel, quite a bit of orange peel. Not exactly how I'd like it. And all the black spots, that's just like brake dust and shit from driving back home. Maybe I could sand it some more to fix it completely. I'll have to see about that. Maybe that is savable. Next up is, I think you should be able to see it if I adjust the brightness. There we go. So you should be able to see the faint sanding marks in the silver base coat here. It's not obvious unless you get up close, but it is something I will need to do better next time. To be fair, I think overall I'm mostly happy with it. And I think from standing over here, you literally can't tell. It is pretty sweet, it's pretty shiny, and I think that that's just the way it goes. So, what do you guys think? But I'm going to be honest, now that I've got these on and comparing them to the other wheels that I just had on, which some of you might have noticed, here's a couple photos of them. Bow, bow.
not sure which I like more. I went into this really confidently for sure that I would like these the best and that these were my favorite type of wheels. But after having those other ones on temporarily, I'm kind of torn actually now which ones I like more. So, but yeah, tell me which you guys like more. I've actually just sold those to Martin, so they're still within the family, and I don't know, maybe he'll let me buy them back in the future, but we'll see about that. One other thing, what do you guys think about, what do you think about that?